The very height of foolishness is for someone to say that there's no God. In fact, David describes a man in Psalm 14, verse 1, who says just that. And there are so many people in our society today who continue to try to say that. And you may be one of them, but I believe everybody has an inclination that there's a God. In Romans chapter 1, he says that we are without excuse because God has revealed himself to us. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 4 gives us some very basic logic. That if we see a house, we know that it has a builder. That it had an architect, a contractor, it had construction men. We know that. But how much more should that be said of the universe? In fact, there was a study done on evolutionists who all claim to believe that there's no God, but they all fail the lie detector test claiming their belief. Everybody has an inclination that there's a God. But notice in Psalm 14 where this man says it, he says it within his heart. He doesn't have to say it out loud. He just thinks it. He's determined within his heart not to believe that there's a God. He's just thinking, oh, no God for me. I don't have to worry about him. And he's not even necessarily standing on some intellectual scientific belief. He's just living and acting as though there's no God. Can you see why somebody would be so determined to believe that there's no God? If there's no God, then there's no restrictions. Nobody telling us what to do and what not to do. If there's no God, then there's no accountability. In Psalm 10, he says that the wicked, they renounce God because they don't want to have to give an account. They don't want to have to worry about judgment as they make their choices. If there's no God, then we can live our choice lifestyle a little easier, can't we? And notice how this man conducts himself. He's corrupt. He's done abominable deeds. If we eliminate God, then we eliminate the only standard for morality that matters. And right and wrong becomes very subjective, doesn't it? And so we look at this man and we think, well, I'm glad I'm not him. But then David says, you're the man. There's none who does good, no, not one. That the Lord looks over his creation, tries to find one person who hasn't lived like this guy, but none of us fit the bill. In fact, over in Romans chapter 3, Paul quotes this exact same verse to say that we all stand guilty before God. We've all sinned and fall short of his glory. And so the truth is we've all been there. In fact, some of us may still be there. But while we are sinning, we're acting as though there is no God. And if we're like this guy, we're determined to do wrong, then there is no God in our thoughts. But the truth is there is a God. And some of us may even claim to believe that. But the question is, are we acting like it? Are we living as though there is a God?